One night before the recall window closed, Elena Voss returned to the place where the past was being rewritten and chose to make it hesitate. She used the same altered credentials that had let her walk the archive before. The fusion layers hung in the air, almost complete. Every gray arc from the last decade, parish boxes, funeral corridors, side gig envelopes, the clinic route she had helped move, waited to be bound forever to sovereign identity accounts. At the center of it all pulsed the confidence architecture, the certainty budget that decided which chains were durable enough for law. Elena sat at the secondary console, fingers moving with the same structural precision she had once used to build the system. You were never supposed to be certain, only confident enough to survive review. She opened the validation threshold layer, the one she had personally calibrated 9 years earlier. With 3 deliberate adjustments, she lowered the certainty budget on every temporal aggregator linked to ritual and refuge patterns. Not enough to crash the archive, just enough to force it to mark its own strongest inferences as reviewable but not durable. Confidence architecture modified. Certainty budget reduced 31% on all gray arc clusters. Validation threshold now requires 94% cross-verified continuity. Status: inference spine integrity compromised. The holographic layers flickered once, a hesitation no casual technician would notice, but the engine would feel everywhere. You're inside the spine. Any longer and Ren's net will lock your access. I'm not burning the archive. I'm breaking its faith in itself. If the state can't trust its own rewritten past, it can't convert ambiguity into law at full scale. She closed the interface. The layers stabilized, but their internal confidence scores now carried a permanent uncertainty, a fracture no audit could cleanly resolve. You taught me how to read every break in the chain. Now you will never be sure which breaks were accidents and which were choices. The sabotage was surgical. The records remained. The data remained. Only the machine's belief in its own perfect continuity had been wounded. By dawn, the recall window would close. The state would still possess its archives, its scanners, its sovereign accounts. But the dream of total narratability, the final conversion of every human movement into a single defensible story, would now carry an unhealed crack. Elena slipped out of the archive the way she had entered, quietly, legibly, and for the first time without asking the system's permission to be right. In the morning, the recall would end. Some would still vanish into the lattice. Some would become rumor, but somewhere in the city a handwritten ledger would remain, and somewhere else 1,000 gray arcs would no longer know whether they belonged to the state or to the people who had once lived inside them.